Lily, would you get out of the tree? Get out. Hey, it's Sue in the restricted section. Today I'm gonna do a big fucking book haul because I resisted for like 2 or 3 months buying books, except for that library sale we went to, but you know, those books were only $1 for all of them. But yeah, I resisted for a while because I really don't have room for any more books in my house. My shelves are full and overflowing. But I fell off the wagon and I fell hard. And I have a bunch of books. These are from November and December. And a lot of them are from used bookstores or thrift stores or whatever, but yeah, let's just get into it. The first couple I have are not from used bookstores. The first one I got from Barnes & Noble, and it's Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. I haven't read anything by her, and everybody raves about Rebecca, and it's, you know, a classic, and it sounds really like something I would enjoy, so I picked that up. And then this one I got at Target, and it is Batman, The Killing Joke. There's heavy glare going on. This is the deluxe edition, I guess, by Alan Moore and Brian Boland. And I love Batman. Batman the Animated Series was my favorite cartoon as a kid. I still love it. I still watch it. And the book, I don't know if you can see it, it's like embossed. It looks pretty cool too. I'm a little bit afraid. I haven't seen the movie that recently came out that's sort of in the style of Batman the Animated Series and also has like all the voice actors from there. But I'm kind of afraid to watch it because I know that this is like very dark and I don't want to ruin my childhood. But I thought I'd at least check out the comic or graphic novel. I don't know what the difference between a comic and a graphic novel is, I gotta be honest, but it's one of those things. Next I'll do the books I got from Thrift Books. This one is actually not a used book. I still got it from Thrift Books though. I couldn't find a used copy because it's not a very popular or well-known book, but it is The Stain by Ricky Ducornet. And I got this because I picked up this book. Let me grab it. I picked up The Fountains of Neptune by Ricky Ducornet at a used bookstore several months ago because I just thought it sounded cool. And then I discovered that it's actually the third book in a series. And this, The Stain, is the first book. I'm not really sure if you have to read the other books in the series. I think they're maybe just like loosely connected. But I thought, hey, might as well read the others. And this book sounds a lot more fucked up than I was anticipating. The back of it says, in The Stain, Ricky Ducornet tells the story of a young girl named Charlotte branded with a furry birthmark in the shape of a dancing hare, regarded as the mark of Satan. Sadistic nuns, scatology, butchered animals, monkish rapists, and Satan, as well as the village exorcist, inhabit this body tale of perversion, power, possession, and the rape of innocence. So it sounds pretty disturbing. Yeah, so I'm not sure what I got myself into there. And someone says it's an extraordinary black erotic fairy tale. So there's that one. And then the next one I got from Thrift Books is one that I've been meaning to read for a while. And I think I'd actually told Peter from Peter Likes Books that I would read this with him over the summer, and then I never even ended up getting a copy of it. But I don't think he read it either, so it's fine. But that is Helter Skelter, the true story of the Manson murders. I think most people have heard of this. This is by Vincent Bugliosi with Kurt Gentry, and it's, you know, of course about the Manson murders, Charles Manson and all that. Yeah, I just wanted to read about that. And also, fun fact, my hometown of Ava, Missouri, little Ava, Missouri, is mentioned in this book because apparently Charles Manson had friends there. Not that surprising, to be honest. And then next I got the second volume of Why the Last Man by Brian K. Vaughan, Paya Guerra, and Jose Martin Jr., and this one is called Cycles. Yeah, I read the first book of it last month and I really enjoyed it, so I wanted to continue on with the series. And this one is in much better condition than the first one I got from thrift books. Okay, and I feel like I got something else from thrift books, but I don't know where it is. I don't know. There's probably a few books I'm leaving out because I just don't know where they are or whatever. But anyway, we'll move on to Book Outlet. Oh, shit. These I got during their Black Friday sale. So, yeah, I got them pretty damn cheap. And the first one is Perfume, The Story of a Murderer by Patrick Suskind? Not sure. I've heard a lot of people talk about this kind of recently. I think it's about a man who like has a very heightened sense of smell and becomes the apprentice to a perfumer, and then somehow that ends up leading him to commit a bunch of murders. So I've heard pretty much everyone who talked about it say they really liked it. So next is another one I've heard about a lot on BookTube, and that is Never Let Me Go by Katsuo Ishiguro. I think this is kind of a dystopian. I'm not really sure. I saw it, I think it was this book that I saw on like a list of dystopian novels, and I was like, oh, I did not know that was dystopian. But I don't really know that much else about it. I think like there's like some kids at a boarding school. That's all I know. But I love dystopian, so there we go. Next is another classic. It's The Scarlet Pimpernel by Baroness Orczy. This is like an adventure novel, I think, and it was kind of unique because it's by a woman at this time in like the 1700s. So I wanted to check that one out, and I've historically liked these kinds of books, so I thought I would enjoy it. Next I got I Am Legend by Richard Matheson. This is a zombie novel. Most people have probably heard of it. Or is it zombies or is it vampires? Now I'm confused. That's vampires. I totally thought it was zombies. I haven't seen the movie, obviously, since I didn't even know what it was. But it's like a apocalypse thing. I wish that they didn't have this fucking thing on it. It looks stupid, but anyway, I think I'll enjoy that one. And then this one is one that I saw Olive from a Book Olive talk about this, and she actually had the author on her channel and interviewed her, and the author seemed like a really delightful person. But it is Sex, Lies, and Handwriting. A top expert reveals the secrets hidden in your handwriting. My cat is knocking Christmas balls in the floor and playing with them. But this is by Michelle Dresbold with Jamie Qualwasser. And this is, yeah, she's a handwriting analyst, and she talks about analyzing handwriting is what it's about. So it says she explains how a single sentence can provide insight into a person's background, psychology, and behavior. Yeah, I just thought that sounded really fascinating, so I wanted to check it out. Next is just a random one I found on there. I'd never heard of it, but it sounded really cool, and that is I Await the Devil's Coming by Mary McLean. And this is like, I think it's like her diary or her journal. It says she was a self-proclaimed genius, a caged free spirit, and a teenage girl made miserable by having to live in remote Butte, Montana in 1902. But when she published this book, she would break out of her cage, ushering in the era of the confessional memoir. It caused a sensation, selling 100,000 copies in its first month alone, and made her a star. Yeah, and I've never heard of this. I don't know. But I thought that would be very interesting to read. Next is another one that is apparently a classic that I had never heard of, and that is Fifth Business by Robert Davies. Honestly, the cover is what caught my attention, but it sounded like something I would enjoy as well, and I think this is the first book in a series. And it's about a man who has returned from World War I, which I thought that would be interesting because it seems like there's tons of books about World War II, but I don't see people talk about World War I quite as much, so it's a classic of Canadian fiction, it says. And then next I got The Queue by Basma Abdel Aziz, And I saw this on someone's channel, but I do not remember whose it was. But this is a dystopian novel. There's the city, and the citizens all have to line up at this great gate to get the things that they need, like essentials for living, but the gate never opens. So they're just in this endless line going nowhere. And it actually made me think of Supernatural, because when Crowley takes over as the king of hell, he turns hell into a giant queue, people just waiting in line for nothing. So yeah, I thought that sounded like an interesting take on a dystopian society. And then lastly, I got The Woman in White by Wilkie Collins from Book Outlet. And this is another one I've heard a lot of people talk about on BookTube, especially I think around Halloween people were talking about this one a lot. Is it scary? I don't know. It says it's a gripping tale of murder, intrigue, madness, and mistaken identity. A lot of people said they really love it, so I thought I'd check it out. Also, I'm an idiot, and I forgot that I had ordered this from Book Outlet, and I also bought a copy at a used bookstore before my order came in the mail, so Megan will be getting that copy of The Woman in White as well, so maybe we'll read it together. Okay, and then last, I went to a thrift store and a couple of used bookstores. First, the thrift store I went to, I got Contemporary American Short Stories, selected and introduced by Douglas and Sylvia Angus, it says, and it's got Flannery O'Connor, Ralph Ellison, James Baldwin, John Updike, Saul Bellow, just tons of really well-known names in American writers, and so yeah, thought that'd be a good time. Next I got Contact by Carl Sagan. This is pretty well known. Again, I have not seen this movie. Have I seen any movies? Not really. Yeah, and this is about aliens, I think. It says a multinational team journeys out to the stars to the most awesome encounter in human history. Who or what is out there? And then next I got these two books that are the second and third books in the Foundation series by Isaac Asimov. I already have the first book. I haven't read it yet, but I mean, I saw these there for super cheap, so I thought, hey, might as well get them. And that is Second Foundation and Foundation and Empire. I think Foundation and Empire might actually be the second book, which is confusing. Is it? Am I right? Oh yeah, this is book 2, Foundation and Empire, and then book 3 is Second Foundation. So hopefully I enjoy that series. I've heard like kind of mediocre things about it, so we'll see. Then I went to a place called Half Price Books, not the big chain store. This is a little used bookstore that's near my house, and I did some damage there, let me tell you. I went overboard. I got Shutter Island by Dennis Lehane. I have seen this movie. But someone suggested this to me as a thriller that I might enjoy and that they really liked, and also said that if I'd already seen the movie, it wouldn't like completely ruin it for me. And honestly, I don't remember the movie super well, so it'd probably be fine anyway. This is some sort of, from what I recall, it's like some crazy sort of psychological thriller that has like a twist ending, but yeah, we'll see if I enjoy that. I've been a little iffy on the thrillers lately, so. The next I got Xenogenesis by Miriam Allen DeFord, and this is a collection of short stories. It says Tales of Space and Time, so it's sci-fi short stories. And Megan and I both have kind of been trying to find more sci-fi by women. Sci-fi, especially like older sci-fi, does tend to be kind of sexist, I think. And so a lot of times I really enjoy sci-fi, but a lot of times I would rather read, in the older stuff, I would sometimes rather read stuff by women. But I just kind of saw some of the titles of the short stories in here and thought that it would be something I would be interested in. There's The Daughter of the Tree, The Superior Sex, The Absolutely Perfect Murder. So it sounds like there'll be some good like feminist sci-fi stories in there. Next is a classic, The Color Purple by Alice Walker. Yeah, a lot of people have been talking about this one on BookTube this year as well. Again, haven't seen the movie or anything. I don't really know that much about it. It says life wasn't easy for SueCee, but she knew how to survive, needing little to get by. Then her husband's lover, a flamboyant blues singer, barreled into her world and gave SueCee the courage to ask for more, to laugh, to play, and finally to love. I've heard this is really kind of heartbreaking, so we'll see. I'm sure I'll love it. I mean, everybody I've talked to has loved it, so. I got another sci-fi novel, Picnic on Paradise by Joanna Russ. Megan actually got this a while back as well, so maybe we'll read this one together too. But yeah, another sci-fi novel by a woman. I really don't know what the book is about. I just saw it and grabbed it. I think this is not, from what I understand, this is not her best work, but you know, it's fine. It's small. And then this one I just thought sounded really interesting, and it's Monkey, a folk novel of China by Wu Chang-en, translated by Arthur Whaley. And this is like a classic folk tale from China. And it says it's the story of a roguish monkey and his encounters with major and minor spirits, gods, demigods, demons, ogres, monsters, and fairies. So that sounds really cool. I've actually heard though that this is like a part of a larger story, so maybe I'll try to find the rest of it sometime, maybe after I read that. Then I got another classic sci-fi novel, and that is 2001: A Space Odyssey by Arthur C. Clarke. Again, have not seen this movie. And I think this is just about humans' exploration of the universe. So yeah, and I know the film is like maybe even more considered more classic and well-known than the novel, so I should probably watch that. Directed by Stanley Kubrick, who also directed the moon landing, as we know. Just kidding. And then I got this really awesome edition of Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy. It's like illustrated. If I can find a picture. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, it's got these illustrations inside. It is a little bit fragile. It's not in like, the spine is kind of like coming off, so it's not in like fantastic condition or anything. It has, I think the copyright it's in Roman numerals, but I googled it because I'm not great with my Roman numerals, and it's copyright 1944. So yeah, just thought it was a pretty nice old gnarled copy of it. I like old books like that. And then I got Beloved by Toni Morrison. I have not read any Toni Morrison yet. I really want to next year. I actually don't really know what this is about either. I'm really bad at book hauls because I just buy things and don't know what they're about. This is another one I've heard is like really heartbreaking. I think it's got some like maybe magical realism type elements. I think there's maybe a ghost involved. Am I wrong about that? I thought there was, but it says Sethi? How do you pronounce the name? Proud and beautiful, she escaped from slavery but is haunted by its heritage. She must deal with this haunting life on every level, from the fires of the flesh to the heartbreaking challenges to the spirit. Set in rural Ohio several years after the Civil War, this profoundly affecting chronicle of slavery and its aftermath is Toni Morrison's greatest novel. And then lastly, from Half Price Books, I got Swamplandia by Karen Russell. Actually, when I bought this, I thought this was a collection of short stories. I don't know why I thought that, but I'm pretty sure I'm wrong. I think it's a full-on novel. I have no idea why I thought this was short stories, but this is about a young girl living in Florida, and I think that her family lives has a gator wrestling theme park, which sounds interesting. But then her mother falls ill, and I think that sets the family into, you know, turmoil. Okay, and then these last few books I got from a different used bookstore called ABC Books. And the first one I have here is Dandelion Wine by Ray Bradbury. I have thus far only read Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury. I have The Illustrated Man as well, but I want to read some more of him, and I've heard fantastic things about Dandelion Wine, so I grabbed it without really, again, looking at what it was about, but let's see. It looks like it's just about a young boy and his magical summer. And then another classic, I got The Trial by Franz Kafka. I've been wanting to read this for a long time, but I couldn't ever find a copy of it anywhere. Well, I mean, I could have just bought one new, but I'm cheap, so I got this one. This one actually wasn't used, but it's like a thrift edition, so it was only like $3.50. This is about a bank clerk who gets, I think he's like accused of a crime that he didn't do, and then just the shit he has to go through, I think. And then this one I got for nostalgia purposes because this, I think, might have been the first sci-fi novel I ever read when I was in high school. And I didn't really know that sci-fi was a thing before that, because I used to read pretty much only like romances and like thrillers pretty much. And I just kind of was like running out at my local library, was running out of ones that I found, you know, sounded like I wanted to read them, sounded interesting to me. And then I went to the very back of the library, and there, hidden, was the sci-fi and horror section. And so I started reading from that section almost exclusively there for a little while. But this was probably the first sci-fi book that I picked up. Maybe I read one when I was a kid, I don't know, but Retro Lives by Lee Grimes is the one that I really remember. And is this a good book? I don't know, probably not. It might be. I'd have to reread it and see, but it's about a man who, he grows old like normal, but then when he reaches about the age, I think it was like something in his 60s or 70s, he starts going backwards and getting younger again. And as he gets younger, he also loses his memories from when he was that age. And so he regresses all the way back to, I think, his like early 20s. And then he starts growing old again. And then he just keeps doing that cycle, and he gets a little bit older each time, and he does eventually die, but he's, you know, hundreds of years old by the time he dies. And so it's really kind of, it's very sad in a lot of ways because, you know, he forgets that his wife, you know, his wife is dead, some of his children are dead. Yeah, when I read this book, it just kind of like blew my mind, I think, because I was like, whoa, this is crazy. People write about stuff like this. So I found it really fascinating and cool at the time. Maybe I'll reread it sometime soon and see if it's as good as I thought it was then. And then the last book I got all because of Adam from Memento Mori, because I saw it and I just, you know, I just thought of him, of course, because I'm pretty sure this is the book that his channel is named after. And I do not know that he loves Muriel Spark. So, you know, it's Memento Mori by Muriel Spark. And I liked this edition too. This is just some like shitty mass market edition, I think, but they had like 5 copies of it. You got the old man on the front, and then on the back you have an old lady, and it says Muriel Spark on her scarf and Memento Mori on his scarf. And yeah, I just thought it was a nice one. I mean, it's not like, it's kind of a stiff one, so I'm not thrilled about that, but I like the way that it looks. I had no idea what this was about when I picked it up. According to what Adam said to me on Instagram, I think it's about some like grumpy old people. So sounds great. I like grumpy old people. That's probably gonna be me when I'm old. So that's it. That's my massive book haul. I probably missed a couple, but whatever. You'll probably see them eventually when I read them. Yeah, let me know if you guys have read any of those books, what you thought of them, which ones should I read first. Yeah, that's gonna be it for me. There'll be links below where you can find myself and Megan other places on the internet. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do, and thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.